I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a virtual drive.
...2021 Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA Modificato.
And why did you say it like that?
Because that's the way they say it in all the press footage. GTA.
GTA M, where M stands for modificata.
And just because we can't drive it, we're stuck at home, that's not going to stop us from telling you that I think this is the sexiest car I have ever seen.
I don't think us being stuck at home is the reason why we can't drive it. I think the reason why we can't drive it is because they only made 500 and no one's going to let us drive one.
Yeah, and apparently they probably won't even make their way to North America anyways, but I'm just using the stay home thing as an excuse.
Okay, why is this cool? Horsepower and torque.
540 horsepower, and there is no official torque figure, and that's coming from a Ferrari-derived 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6.
So we've never driven a Giulia Quadrifoglio, but we drove a Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and it was my favorite SUV ever.
Yeah, so the regular Giulia and Stelvio Quadrifoglio have 505 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque.
So in this GTA, they took a lot of the weight out of it and added more power.
Yeah, and there's two different versions of this car. We'll get into the specifics after, but there's a GTA and the GTA M.
You're saying it completely wrong.
What do you mean?
GT.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, I'm not from Italy, so. But let's talk about some specifics. So it does have the same 8-speed auto transmission. It is still rear-wheel drive, but now it can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds.
Okay, back to the name real quickly. If it was a Canadian car, it would be like, oh, the GTA, eh? It wouldn't be nearly as cool, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
Okay.
So the GTA is inspired by the 1965 version of the GTA, which stands for Gran Turismo Alleggerita.
And then what does the M stand for?
I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. I'm just going to let you handle that one this time.
It stands for modification, but you know, modificato. So there is a GTA version that's not the M, and that one has back seats where the M version only has a cage in the back.
And there's a lot more differences between the two models, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And when I said Gran Turismo Alleggerita, that means lightened Gran Turismo. So basically a lightweight GT car.
So they're doing the exact same thing they did in 1965.
Well, pretty close to that, yeah. And a lot of manufacturers seem to be doing something similar to this now, kind of like the Jaguar Project 8.
And then they're also mentioning that they're releasing this for their 110th anniversary as well.
And because they're only releasing 500 of these, Alfa Romeo is saying that they want this to be collectible and valuable.
Becoming one of the most collectible and valuable classic Alfa Romeo cars ever built.
Which kind of sucks to me because I don't want it to be collectible. I want it to be on the streets everywhere. Like, people are gonna store them and never drive them.
Yeah, that part sucks because I think this is now my dream sedan.
Even better than the Jaguar XE Project 8.
You know how much I love V8s, but yes, I love the looks of this way more.
How much I like 6-cylinders. So for me, this is like right in line with what I like.
So now let's get into all the stuff that makes this a GTA, aka a lightweight Grand Touring car. So they took out 220 pounds thanks to a carbon fiber drive shaft, a carbon fiber hood, roof, front bumper, front fenders, rear fender flares, and even the seats. They also used more aluminum and even Lexan for the rear and side windows.
Okay, that's cool race car stuff.
Yeah, that's straight up race car stuff. And speaking of more race car stuff, the actual body appearance kit was made by Sauber Engineering. Yeah, Formula One.
Okay, so there is a lot of cool carbon wings and like inlets and stuff on the front.
The front end of the GTA looks stunning and very fast.
Yeah, the front end just looks so aggressive, and it does have active aero thanks to that partnership with Sauber.
And then on the sides, we've also got a really crazy side skirt that they designed.
And they also have 20-inch center lock wheels, which Alfa Romeo claims is the first time that center lock wheels are used on a sedan.
Yeah, and those wheels are like the best pattern that I like from Alfa Romeo. I'd like them a little bit more if they were the lighter color like on the Stelvio that we drove, but they do look really, really good.
And they widened the front and rear tracks, so they actually gave it wider fenders, and you actually have to have carbon fiber fender flares to cover the black wheels now.
Yeah, it's cool how the back is dark and the front is color matched.
And then moving around to the back, we have a massive wing, but that's only on the GTA M. On the GTA, it's like a much smaller carbon fiber wing.
Yes, but even on the GTA M, you still have the normal wing at the bottom blended all in. It's very Type R-ish to me.
Yeah, and again, that's all functional because that was developed with their partnership with Sauber Engineering.
Yeah, and then on the GTA M, the GTA Modificatio, you get way bigger splitters at the very bottom.
And on both versions, you get a titanium Akrapovic exhaust, which looks amazing. It's mounted in the center now, and they released a little clip showing you exactly what it sounds like, and let's play that right now. And because that clip actually kind of sucked, I went to Akrapovic's website, and here's what the titanium exhaust sounds like for the regular Quadrifoglio.
So needless to say, this is going to be one of the best sounding cars ever.
I definitely think so, and that's 100% part of the reason why I want this so badly.
And like, what did I say was my favorite sounding SUV/car of the last year?
The Stelvio Quadrifoglio.
And I do not change my mind at all. These guys have it figured out. And then we still have a Quadrifoglio badge on the fender.
Yo, it's Quadrifoglio.
Sorry, Quadrifoglio. And then we also have an Auto Delta badge below that.
Yeah, the double badge thing looks a little bit weird, but it's also kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think Auto Delta was the shop where they built the first GTA in 1965. I think it's cool how they have two of those things right there.
It's a cool little heritage throwback. It just looks a little odd when you see them both side by side.
Yeah, but like when you see badges and stuff tacked onto the side, you know they mean business on a car like that.
So kind of like a Volvo with like 8 badges down the side.
Exactly. The more badges, the more badass. And then we've also got an Italian flag on the mirror, which I think is very suiting for the way they pronounce everything.
Yeah, and it's a carbon fiber mirror, so it looks pretty cool.
And all the press footage shows it in red. I'm not sure what other colors you can get it in, but there is an earlier rendering of it in silver. I think when you get the chance to order one, which everyone has already done, they get a one-on-one consultation with Alfa Romeo to design it the way they want.
Honestly, I kind of hope that they pull a Ferrari and you can only get it in that one red.
But like, I really like the blue as well.
The blue is really nice as well, but it would be cool if they pulled a Ferrari move.
Let them do whatever they want, I think.
So now let's move to the inside because that's where the majority of the differences are between the GTA and the GTA M.
Modificatio.
Yeah, so we've got 2 carbon fiber racing seats, a rear seat delete. We've got Alcantara where the rear seats would be. There's apparently no interior door panels. I think that's only in the back because I see some in the front. And there's also fabric door pulls instead of handles, just like a Porsche GT car. And there's also a roll bar and a 6-point racing harness.
On top of that, you get a livery-matched Bell open-faced helmet with a slot for the helmet holder behind the driver's side.
And you also get a full racing set by Alpine Stars, a race suit, gloves, and shoes, as well as personalized Goodwill car cover and a driving course from Alfa Romeo Driving Academy.
Did you see the way the car cover actually looks when it's spread out on the car?
It looks exactly like the car. It's the best.
And then there's also a fire extinguisher back there, which is the telltale sign for a badass car.
Yeah, any car that comes with a fire extinguisher from the factory, you know you're gonna have a good time in.
And then if you get the non-modificatio version with the back seat, they mention in all the footage that it's meant for you to take your kids to school. Like, that was one of the main points they made about not getting the M version.
And the GTR thought to bring your children, the new generation of Alfisti, to school with 4 full seats, no roll bar, lower rear wing, and a shorter splitter.
So realistically, there is no chance in hell that you would get the non-M version, right?
Well, no, for me, if I could get this, I'd get the crazy version. You know how funny it would be to open the back doors and just see no seats?
But even if you had kids to drive to school, I'd probably tell them to take the bus or something, because like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of have to. So back to this interior. I want to talk about these paddle shifters. They are column mounted, which we do like because it feels exotic, but we do prefer steering wheel mounted paddles.
Nope, I prefer this.
Okay, so looks like Yuri changed his mind, but I started researching these on the website, and it says that the Giulia has column-mounted aluminum paddle shifters, and I quote, inspired by our Formula One race cars, the column-mounted aluminum paddle shifters. So they said, inspired by their race cars, column mounted. Their race cars are definitely steering wheel mounted. Moving on with the rest of the interior, we've got the standard infotainment, which apparently has been updated in 2020 for all Giulia models, but it's already had Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and we've used it on the Stelvio.
Yeah, I totally loved it in the Stelvio. Remember, it was just you plug it in and everything loads up right away. I'm very excited to see the infotainment in that car, which I will never get to drive.
And then we've got Alcantara on the upper part of the dash. We've also got it on the glove box, and then we have carbon fiber in the center console.
And lastly, it does have GTA stitched into the dash, which is also awesome.
And it also has a launch control mode, which I should probably mention because we do love launch control. And by the way, the GTA and the GTA M are both fully street legal.
Yo, just say it the proper way.
GTA M.
Modificatio.
Modificatio.
I think that's what he said.
modificata.
So obviously we can't tell you how it drives, but according to the press footage, it can drive really sexily at a very low rate of speed.
Is that what it said, or is that what you saw?
That's all I saw from the press footage, but the press photos showed it drifting with flames coming out, so there's that.
But isn't that photo of it drifting, didn't they just Photoshop a bunch of spoilers and stuff onto a regular Giulia Quadrifoglio?
It kind of looks like they did that, so probably.
And then as for the steering wheel and gauges, we do have the start button on the steering wheel, which we really liked in the Stelvio.
And the gauges are similar to the Giulia Quadrifoglio and the Stelvio Quadrifoglio.
And I think the Stelvio had the best shift lights ever. Remember how easy it was to see when it was time to shift? So whoever has this is going to have a great time driving it.
And in terms of drive modes, it looks like we have the same selector, so you pretty much just want to be sitting in race mode anyways, because that's the loudest exhaust mode for the valved exhaust.
So back to the drivetrain real quick. This is rear wheel drive, correct?
Yeah, it's only available in rear wheel drive, only with the 8-speed auto. There's no manual. I know how cool it would have been.
So with all that out of the way, not that it matters because we can't buy one anyways and no one else can, what's the price?
I actually don't have the price for my favorite sedan in the world because they haven't released the price. You pretty much just have to contact them and say you're going to buy one, and if you're one of the 500 lucky people, they'll tell you the price.
Yeah, but all of the lucky people who are probably going to get one have already called in and had one allocated to them a while ago. How much do you think these things are going to go for? Because I think they'll be like $300,000 US.
Well, the Project 8 is around $200,000, so I think this will be pretty much in line with it.
So then if you could only pick one, this or the Project 8, which one would you pick? Because I know you love your V8s.
I'm 100% Team Giulia on this one because I think this thing just looks stunning, and I would actually pick it for its looks over the looks of the XE. Not even just because of the engine, just the looks, man.
And since I'm a 6-cylinder fanboy, I would obviously rather take the Alfa. And I love all the Italianness in it, so for sure, I am Team Alfa Romeo.
So let us know which one you guys would pick, the Alfa Romeo GTI or the GTI M or the XE Project 8.
And let us know what you think of this format. Which cars should we virtually review next? Because we can't go out and drive right now and we have no other choice.
But that also makes our possibilities unlimited, so let us know in the comments below and watch this video right here, which will probably be the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, because that's the closest thing we've driven to this.
Yes, Team Alfa Romeo. Quadrifoglio.